so many unexpected changes going into playoffs that just make everything all the more uncertain, all the more crazy, and it might lead to some wash matchups even later on in playoffs when we have the bangers right at the start.
I agree, and I mean, just for Marsborne too, I'm excited to see Grizz. He's a good up-and-coming rifler in North America. Get MOTM back in the playoffs of Challenger League. He's been around for an eternity at this point. Good to see Minus back as well. Chop has been around for a long time too, going back to that old RBG. Good lord, it's been too long since I've seen that one. And Minus will open his account and the playoffs for Marsborne, traded right back by Sadzine. Dumao up top, Hut 1-for-1. There comes Grizz. Rotations in. Grizz doubles down. Luck's looking the wrong way, but he does take Wolfie with him in due turn. Bomb to be recovered. Nissim up top. Dual Beretta's not exactly the best at this kind of range, but Chop is spotted retreating back into Hut. Grizz, his head peeks over that smoke as well. And so the jig is up. Information gained for Legacy. Rotation down in the form of Sadzine. Do not see a kit available for the Brazilian squad here, starting on the CT side. Map pick of Marsborne. Sadzine down by double doors, looking to stop that plant once it does go down. Chop up top. Grizz down low. Chop spotted. Neither one getting much damage here. Grizz opens the doors. Chop coming down. Sadzine has to back away. Does take one and both down from double doors. Retreating, but not running away. And Legacy, open pistol round, goes their way, plus no bomb plant, despite that good effort from Grizz.
Yep, a good effort from him, but not enough to get it across the line in the end. Legacy take the pistol round on the CT side. I like the idea from Marsborne. They know that this player down below is likely isolated and alone. They want to take the fight to him and win it 2 versus 1. The issue is the fight doesn't go their way in either case, and they just lose the duel to individual prowess on behalf of that player down below. Sadzine securing 3 kills in that opening round off the back of his victory there. Investment going in round 2, next to nothing for Marsborne because they didn't get that bomb plant. And in fact, I think it is nothing. I don't know if they bought a nade for the start of the round or not, but it looks to be just Glocks. And Sadzine,
I don't think they did.
Yeah. Sadzine seizing space, gets 1. Wolfie's down to 9. That's lobby control taken. And Marsborne now funneled to the outside yard where Dumao is waiting with a player in secret. Lato and Lux getting 3 between them. Yeah, an MP7 is an interesting choice, but I do quite like it. I'd say it's far more serviceable than the MP5, which is its counterpart, but
I agree.
That still isn't saying much.
It does have a little more range, so I guess that's why they went for the MP7 for the outside hold, MP9 inside. It does get 2 kills, too. It's just you don't see that very often, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I like it, honestly. I used to love the MP7 back in the day when I first started playing, so it's got a soft spot in my heart.
I was a big UMP fan.
Oh, same here. The UMP used to be a little rifle, though, back in the day.
No, I think everybody liked it, though. It was the MP9 before the MP9.
It better. But there's an opening pick for Marsborne here. Lotto removed, MP7 on the ground, lobby crunch coming through from Legacy, but it's an outside run from Marsborne. Circumnavigating this, they're going to wrap it around towards A. I do like this call, given the fact they had a little bit of information about the lobby crunch. MOTM going up top, will run into Nissim, who gets the drop, though. There is a player outside that could get found. Indeed, Minus is caught. Now MOTM creeping in, Nissim ready for another trial through heaven to send to hell. Nissim has Sadzine out lower as well. Moving around towards the outer yard. Good timing there for Nissim as he'll drop 2. And now that early advantage from Marsborne evaporated. Nissim still up top in the rafters. Couple different angles. It comes down to timing here. He's spotted and dropped. Wolfie can't spray down. Famas from Dumao. Down back silo. Sadzine comes over now. Trying to grab a gun. Will be successful. Stealing that from MOTM. Last 2 Marsborne players in towards the A site. Dumao still waiting. Back silo. Jump spotting. 1 in the vents. 1 in heaven. Dumao, the man of the hour, holding steadily, peeks out wide, goes back in. Sadzine has Overwatch up top. Grizz flanking around with Chop. 1-for-1 here. There's Sadzine to answer. Bomb plan for Grizz. Will be successful, actually. And that's at least something for Marsborne. And an extra kill here goes Miles to damaging the CT icon. economy as well. Sunseed falls too! 2 HP for Grizz and a 1v2 clutch out of nowhere. They give him the plant, and that gives up the round.
Massive play from Grizz to try and get the information in the 1v2. He gets the plant. He knows the player Heaven's going to bide his time. Grizz repositioning around the site, using the silos to his advantage in this 1v1 skill diff. The instant headshot onto his opponent. Very well played from Grizz to steal away a round and get Marsborne their first on the board.
That was a round that looked so rough for Marsborne. They got the opening pick, then everything went wrong. Grizz does it all in the end. A little lack of aggression, too much trepidation from Legacy causes Grizz to have an opportunity which he does not miss. That is great individual work from the North American rifler. And now the economy for Legacy in a very rough spot. Wolfie blinded outside, a team flash as a matter of fact, but he'll still get the opener. Doesn't take much damage. Finally caught by Lato, spamming that smoke with the A1S. No refrag here, but trades do favor the T side. That op will really hamper a retake situation. Also, the lack of a defuse kit for Legacy here means a save is more than likely if a bomb does get planted here for Marsborne. Nissim, though, this is huge.
Had the exact same thought. Nissim seizing the day perfectly. Oh, he doesn't get the spray! He whiffs the opportunity!
88-4. 88-4.
I mean, the headshot should be guaranteed at that kind of angle regardless. Chop burns away Sadzine. Dumal gets a double down decon. It is back to even footing, but minus down the vents, slinks behind his opponent, and finally unseats the player decon. Chop. Back silo will go for the plant, fakes it, repositions, puts it down. No, never mind. Lato dissuades him from going for that attempt. And it will finally hit dirt. Swinging together is the call, and it is the right call as well. Minus gets the trade, and Marsborne win a second round in a row by the skin of their teeth.
Skin of their teeth, but it's coming in their favor right now. Tie ball game, and the fact that they get the bomb plants, they're on the T side, they're going to have enough money to reinvest here. Legacy will not, so an early chance for Marsborne to grab a lead. 3-2 on this T side. And actually, no, Legacy are going all in on a force buy. A FAMAS for Dumal. 3 Deagles and a 5-7 for Zadzine, presumably playing that around ramp in the tight angles. Getting a headshot would be the goal. Grab a gun and run away. Deagles outside looking for the classic Keota. Don't really see too many of those anymore from the Brazilian sides, but be nice to see a Brazilian side come back towards the top again.
So it would. This is a full investment though, so they're looking to at least do damage, ideally win the round. Marsborne, no. Economy's off kilter. They know that something's going to be awry with the investment from Legacy. The question is, how much did they invest? Are they on USPs? Did they buy Deagles? Is there maybe a hero rifle in play? That's the questions that Marsborne is trying to answer right now with this slow prodding. Minus gets contact out in the yard. Still no casualties at the 45-second mark.
Here's first contact. Good win by Minus. Not too much damage taken by Marsborne yet, but they need to get to site and quickly. Chop cuts down Zadzine. Wolfie still outside, catches Lux. Grizz clears the angle, does turn away from it for a second, but luckily for him, just a deagle in the hand of his opponent. And so Nissim now, nothing, just a body shot. A flawless anti-force spy round from Marsborne, as they'll take the lead, 3 Galils into this anti-eco, and now a chance to double their lead in round number 6. As the late execute works out well, they cross their T's, dot their I's, and a little bit of luck goes their way too.
A much needed clean one as well, really does help Marsborne even out their economy. As I mentioned, the 2 prior rounds that they had won, both were found with only a single survivor. Marsborne keep all the same weapons they had before. Those Galils stay in hand. And Legacy are on a very sparing investment. They have a couple P250s, actually 1 P250 and a couple Deagles, I should say. They're just trying to find some wacky kills, like a collateral with the Deagle and a P250 kill from Lato. The rounds were turned on its head.
And Minus is at half health.
Where's Chop? He has to save
He's
this round.
A-site.
That's the only call at this point. He's slinking out the door. There's nobody here, but there's the information. Now the impact of the surprise play is effectively moot, and they're all out here in the yard ready to prevent that bomb from being recovered. Legacy stand well to potentially find a third and tie things back up, especially with that shot from Sadzine. It's just minus on less than half HP, as you mentioned. He's found one, but he needs 3 more, and he's not going to find it. Lato around Unbreakable with the Galil in hand, steals away the round, but the showstopper was most certainly that Deagle collateral from Lux.
Yeah, and he's a bright spot for this Legacy roster. Consistent, good performer. And a little bit of luck now shines upon Legacy as the Deagle Collab will go a long way to running through this Marsborne momentum and stymieing this T-side aggression. At least for Marsborne, they had a flawless in the previous, but instead of it being a 4-2 lead for them, it's now a tie scoreline again with Legacy on a bye, bolstered by 2 free Kalashnikovs and a Galil with a 5-finger discount there. Marsborne have a full bye, but it's their economy now that's on the ropes again. And Legacy, you know what an eco round victory like that does to the momentum, to the confidence? They are going to be surging forward here towards the second half of the first half. I guess the second quarter, if you want to break it down like that. As Marsborne now looking scared. Don't want to make a mistake.
No, they don't. Victories that are so critical to that CT economy. It just gives them a second wind. Marsborne, though, undeterred. Not as scared as you would have thought. Out of ramp they go. They find Sadzine and force Nissim back. Chop and Grizz, though, take a very hefty amount of damage, and in fact, Marsborne aren't going to stick around either. Already looking elsewhere, happy to have at least shown presence instead.
They have minus lurking
a lot of control.
around.
I was gonna say, all over the map. They have a player wrapping around Heaven, they have a player down Secret, they have players everywhere on the map for this T side.
Lato's ready if the timing works. Which it doesn't. He gets caught. That's the site and probably the round here. I don't know if Legacy want to go for a 3 versus 5 retake on the A site. It's not a favorable one. And with Chop pushing in, that actually opens the door slightly. That might entice Legacy to go for this, and Grizz is low. There is some utility, 2 flashes and a nade. Unless another pick comes through, though, I don't think Legacy are going to go for this, and yeah, they're just going to play it smart, play it safe. And Marsborne will respond quite quickly with a really necessary round victory following the anti-eco loss.
Yes, they will. Legacy will be able to reinvest, though, thanks to that eco victory. MOTM, though, finds the Mao making it a little bit more difficult to make that reinvestment work. You mentioned Lato was reading the play on A. The issue is he has 3 different angles to watch, and that's a lot of eggs to be putting in one literal basket up top of Mustang.
Yeah, that in this economy, I don't think you can afford to put all your eggs in one basket, Nate.
In this economy, I can't afford eggs or a basket.
Timeout used by Legacy this early into the map. That's interesting. They really want to rely on their CT side. It is their far favored side. 67.3% win rate on the CT side for Legacy. Meanwhile, for Marsborne, 62% on the defense, 45.6% on the offense for Marsborne. So they're on pace to overtake that number and quite quickly. Very similar metrics overall, though. 47.2 for Legacy on the T side. And there's not much between these two teams stat-wise. Marsborne has the larger sample size. And they've shown a tendency to take down some teams that might be ranked a little bit higher than them. I don't necessarily want to call it giant killing tendency, but they can definitely overcome the underdog molehill.
They can punch up.
Yes, that's a great way to phrase it.
They've done well to maintain pacing throughout this first half. Marsborne never really dilly-dallying, still getting control, still throwing utility, still holding their lines because they know Legacy do like to push at times. I really liked the way Marsborne have set themselves up throughout this first half. It's never looked stale. They're going to go for yard control now. Minus is down at Africa. 2 more teammates coming around slowly outside. We have that player lurking inside lobby as before, and utility man in spawn. stock standard.
There has been quite a variety to this Marsborne T side, 7 rounds in. It is a relatively experienced squad, too, when you look at Chop, Wolfie, and MOTM, especially. Minus has been around as well. Grizz starting to get there. There's a nice little nade combo. Zadzine gets the opener. Dumao sprays for a second. Grizz and Minus, the 2 heaviest hitters for Marsborne thus far, removed from action in round number 8. Lotto finds Chop as well as the smokes fade outside. MOTM stuck in Africa. And a tie score at 4-4, looking very likely off the back of the timeout here. Wolfie charging through fire, does open things up. He does have the bomb, too. And Dumao gets cut down outside. There's an opportunity for Marsborne now. But with MOTM falling, that opportunity far less likely. Zadzine gets the spot. Rotations coming in. No safe harbor for Wolfie. Enemies on all sides. And Lotto just goes for the body shots to end it all. 3 alive, 4-4 on the board. And a successful timeout for Legacy as they look to salvage this opening half of this first map.
As you mentioned, both teams definitely prefer the CT side. I'd say 8 is their ideal. Both teams on paper have a sub 50% win rate on the T side, so that would make sense as well. Marsborne again on the cusp of an investment. Galil, Tech 9s. It is going to be a full buy, but it's going to be a scrappy one. See if they up the pace or how they elect to play this one differently in light of these subpar weapons. If they even will play it differently. Seems like they're still playing their standard mid-round plays.
This force buy, though, lacks a lot more bite than I think Marsborne would like, both in utility and overall firepower. Helmets across the board on the CT side, too. That Galil can't one-shot headshot. However, double tap to the back of the head will work for 1. Grizz does trade back with 2 before he's put down by Zadzine. Lux chimes in as well. And as the explosion works out initially for Marsborne, it ends with a burned Wolfie. 3 kills for Marsborne is not too terrible, but considering the fact they can't reinvest into this next round and really punish those kills, it almost becomes a bit of a moot point and allows Legacy to gain not only that 6th round, but that economy once again. Grizz doing so much to try and get things open for Marsborne on these entries. There just hasn't been enough around him.
No, there hasn't. He did well as the second man in with that Tech 9, but there was too much firepower on the site for Legacy that Marsborne weren't able to overcome. Legacy changing it up now on their defense. Aggression in the yard for Lux towards red. They need to be careful. They should know that Marsborne's economy is quite low, so getting aggressive could get them punished. Zadzine, though, at range, covering his teammate, finds 2. Lux, the 3rd and a 4th. The last alive is heard dropping from top Marshmallow. It's Grizz, the man you'd expect to get a kill, but he finds diddly squat. It is a Legacy to find a flawless one now. And in fact, I don't think they took a point of damage either. That means they at least have a tie ball game going into the second half. They also have the opportunity to get an 8-4, which I mentioned would be the ideal for them on the CT side.
Would be ideal. And if you're Marsborne, if you can grab a 5th, that would be huge. You cut in to that necessary round count on the defense in that second half. It is your map pick. And for all intents and purposes, it is a map that Marsborne need to win to take this to a 3rd. Inferno does not bode well for them. We'll break that down more going into that second map. But MOTM, an entry on an aggressive Dumao, an advantage for Marsborne, something to bring them back in. But Nissim brings it to a 4 versus 4. Lotto still lurking around. He has been silent. They don't know he's here. Nissim's crunching in through lobby, but MOTM seems to be smelling a trap. Nissim, 1. Zadzine, op in hand, falls to MOTM. Lux does get 1, but here comes Lotto in front of the utility, takes him down. As now it's Lux and Lotto to try and bring a pair of L's to Marsborne and grab a 7th round. Lotto, what a wide swing. What a kill from Lux. Backing up Lotto. I think Lotto would have still gotten the frag, regardless if Lux was there or not. And that duo, top of the scoreboard and topping Marsborne in this round, catapulting Legacy up to an 8th, or a 7th rather, looking for that 8th. And Marsborne, what is their buy going to be? The bomb plant's there, but it's not ideal at all. Their first time out into the last round of the first half. And Nate, it is looking a little bleak for Marsborne here to end this half. And it seems like Legacy, they started out a little rough, but they've woken up.
They've woken up. They found their footing. This is where they kind of step away with it unless Marsborne have something really specific in the back pocket. Maybe the coach has some insights to give the team during that pause. Buy isn't as bad as I was worried it would be. It's still not great. Wolfie might be contemplating a scout. It's actually going to go for the Mac 10 to maximize utility. I don't hate it, but I definitely don't like it either. Have to see if they change their pace once more, or if it's more mid-round shenanigans as it has been throughout this first half. Lux, early fight outside, takes a lot of damage, doesn't deal any in return. Decent enough start for Marsborne.
A pop on the cards. Contact in on Chop as he runs out. The flash doesn't save him as Lotto doubles up. Goes down to MOTM, but Mao is able to escape into Mini. Rough spray, but he finds Minus. MOTM eliminates Nissim. Lux working around back through HUD. Will not be expected here. Sadzine goes up, drops in the nade, and that will do just a little bit of chip damage. Lux gets caught, just poking around the door sill. Now Sadzine, Glock in hand, can't bring it down. 1 versus 1. No bomb plant, and the half on the line. It's MOTM to bring it to Marsborne. And a critical 7-5 now for Marsborne into the second half on the other side of the break.
Marsborne stole away the final round of the first half to bring it within 2. Legacy still a narrow lead, 7-5 as they enter the T side of Nuke. Pineapple Phillips and Boggs on the mic, and Legacy now on the more difficult side of the map. Marsborne, what is the investment? It's 2 sets of dualies with armor for MOTM and Chop. That means no kit in play, 1 flash on the belt of Wolfie. And Legacy, a walk ramp appears to be on the cards. Grizz, P2K in hand, first contact falls back, still supporting his teammate, but Legacy aren't committing to this fight. Wise of them, given that Marsborne had 3 at the ready. MOTM on a site, though, takes down Demao and Lotto and sends Legacy going back to ramp instead. Back into that triple stack, and that is foolhardy. Sadzine, the last alive in a 1v5, gets 1 onto MOTM, but Grizz ensures that victory is isolated and alone as Marsborne bring it to within 1 and take away the pistol with a convincing setup towards a ramp and a site.
Critical second half pistol round win, denying the bomb plan and doing it so cleanly too. Great stuff from Marsborne to kick off half number 2. And we'll see what Legacy can answer. Not this round, this is going to be Glocks out. We'll see what they can do in round 15. XM in the hands of MOTM. MP9's on 2. M4's on 2. Love to see the shotguns come through, though. Big fan of using those on Nuke. That's also a great way to farm some cash on the CT side. Always very useful to get that bank going up. Minus outside. Helped out for 1. Helps himself out for another. Dumao does eventually finish him off, but Dumao will not be long for this world. No armor. And a couple of MP9s spraying him down for both sides. He'll hit the dirt. 7-7. And the XM recovers the M4, so the shotgun is the only loss. And that's not even a problem at all. This is now where we start to get into the real form of action. And seeing what's going to actually happen. Tie ball game. 7-all. Getting to that last third of this game, this opening map. If Legacy lose a couple here, Marsborne put themselves in pole position to take their map pick and move towards Inferno. What do the Brazilians have to work with on T's side? We saw a lot from Marsborne. Many different plays, many different ideas. Lots of modular timing as well.
Looks like Lux will be the equivalent of minus in the outside yard. Legacy looking to go to ramp, but Grizz just spamming away to so much damage. Nades will come in, Grizz will fall back. No, he'll stick around. Whiffing the spray initially. Does he get away? Yes, he does. Wolfie in the meanwhile drops Lotto from J-Hall. A lot of information gained and good damage done by Marsborne. Legacy are already hurting in the utility department as well. They have nothing left for an execute. 1 Molotov, 2 flashes, and that's all for Sadzine. Marsborne looking good to take away this bonus, especially with that flash peek from Chop. The flash didn't quite hit its mark, but Chop still gets the execution right. Now again, the final 3 with next to no utility, have to pull it out of the hat. Demao spams away for 1. That's a good start. Still need more. They still find themselves down by a man. Only 30 seconds to go. They might even just call the save.
I think they're going to. We've seen this from Legacy before, that they will call saves in situations like this where they don't favor it on the T side. It's more common in the Brazilian side of things as well. North America, we're like, screw it. Let's go get a kill or 2 or 3. Do what we can. Brazilians surprisingly take it a lot more conservatively, contrary to how they used to play back in 2016, 2017. Hyper-aggression.
The issue with going for a save is that it makes it really hard to manage your T-side economy.
But look at the money on Lux and Lotto. It actually is going to balance out.
You could buy Galil's and armor with no utility. They could buy
Mac 10 drop down vent.
Mac 10s would be the call, yeah. Mac 10s and drop the utility over to somebody else to throw it. Probably Nissim or Sadzine. We see a mixed bag instead. A Galil for Lotto and a Tech 9 for Lux. As I mentioned, the economy hard to kind of balance out. And Legacy are going to take a pause to figure out exactly what they want to go for, given this mismatch of weaponry in their hands.
Yeah, I do like this timeout here from Legacy as well, as they can't allow Marsborne to get this lead too far forward. I mean, 5 rounds now between Marsborne and map 1 victory. 4 rounds and a guaranteed overtime. Legacy are starting to feel the heat a little bit. Marsborne have entered the kitchen, they've turned up the gas, and they're cooking away on it. Legacy are sweating. They'll go for double Tech 9s now, Nate. They're going to get rid of that Galil. Never mind. Lux is going to go... Okay, Lux is going to get the AK from Sadzin. Tech 9 to the Opper. Tech 9 to Lato. I would actually really like to see Lato have the AK rather than Nissim. But that's just a little personal anecdote. Almost feels like a Zeus Navi with simple days there.
Lato is second out, so it makes sense. Chop gets one from top of hut, 2 before going down. Dumao does him in, but MOTM, it's his turn at bat towards the door. He gets one and falls away, buying time. He will finally be felled by Sadzin, but advantage nonetheless with this CT side. And Wolfie has taken up his teammate's former stead. Bomb plant in the chaos has gone down at B. Marsborne have already read that as well. Dumao. Timing on this flank is everything. It seems like they might know about it, though.
Oh, he's got one. He's
timing is everything.
Surely.
He gets a buy scot-free. They didn't see him. They were holding for him. The Mao now gets one. Means Grizzly has to turn back, or Minus does, excuse me, as Grizz was the one taken down. Minus does get the trade, but time is of the essence, and at this point it might be too far gone.
They do have kids.
Unless they run it all the way down ASAP, and they line up for Sadzin, who gets them both in the 1v2 and steals the round for Legacy, tying it back up. But again, a narrow margin. Only one player survives, and that means the T-side economy will continue to hurt going into this next investment.
It will continue to hurt, but that is a critical tie again for Legacy this time to bring it close. It was Marsborne in that first half who were battling tooth and nail to keep pace with that CT side. Now it's Legacy's turn. Op out for Wolfie. M4 A1S's across the rest of the squad. Utility's not great though. 5 smokes, but no Molotovs, a couple of nades, and an opening pick for Wolfie. That is a good start. Just need to work with that. More smokes being used outer yard. No spot on that smoke explosion. Dumao trying to creep his way through. Operating in the shadows. What will he find? A little bit of contact. MOTM gets sprayed down. Can't quite catch out a lot though. Dumao, there's one for him. But can he do more than just level the score? Here's the jump from Grizz. Spots him out from below. And Grizz is in trouble. He's taken down. Great movement from Lato, all stemming from that smoke push outside about 25 seconds ago. A still has 2 defenders here, MOTM and Chop. MOTM drops down. Lato, what a play by MOTM, flashes in, but there's the trade from Lux. The light will not blind him. And Chop now first or second vent rather drops the bomb. Dumao, they know where he is, and he's cut as well. Lux 1 but not 2. Wolfie the op in the back lines. And Marsborne, the tenuous lead again returns to 1, with only 1 surviving as this roller coaster of a map 1 continues here. Another timeout used by Marsborne to counter that of Legacy. And it started and ended with the op of Wolfie.
We didn't see it at all in the first half. It's a very difficult weapon to use on the T side, but it looks nice and at home, warmed up and ready now in the second half for Wolfie. Pause called because they need to get their financial situation in order. 3 players on MP9s. Legacy, it's their turn to do something interesting as well. They're on a weird kind of half buy with the Mao and Nissim going down to 1350 and 1750 respectively, but the big standout is Lux investing everything but $700 to get a hero AK and armor on the field.
It's not an ideal buy here. Go ahead.
Seen them win rounds like these with pistols, but on the offense, it's a very different kind of beast.
I mean, it did have a Lux collateral Deagle double headshot.
It's true. Maybe another is on the cards.
Nope. First one down.
Hero AK recovered by Dumau, who does have Kevlar at least. But the MP9s should be able to make light work of the pistols given the opportunity. As I was saying that, though, one is felled by the Tech 9. Dumau gets a trade on the minus. Now things could slip away unless they're careful. MP9 of MOTM shuts the door, metaphorically speaking, over towards Squeaky. And now it's Dumau. They know he's out in the yard, or he was out in the yard, I should say, with a Hero AK in hand. He has the bomb as well.
He has some time, too.
And he uses as much of it as he can to find an opening, bring it to at least a 1v2 if he can.
Grizz is ready, but it's an MP9 against an AK. No helmet for Dumau. That could be the game changer here. Grizz actually backs away. Wolfie's watching it now with the op in hand. The trade's right there. If the op misses the shot, which it does not. Another good start and finish for Wolfie. And Marsborne moved to within 3, but the buy will be back for Legacy here. Wolfie's just getting some nice little shots on the opening, and getting that opening pick has been so useful for Marsborne in these last 2 rounds.
Legacy really put a lot of emphasis on their opening. It's Lux plus his train of individuals behind him. If you lose that opening, guy just stutter step. No more map control to be taken. You can go off the back of from your star player. Legacy, still a bare bones investment because of those half buys with the pistol, that hero rifle. They're now on 4 AKs and a Galil with only 1 smoke left at a minute 30 in the round. This one's going to have to be won by winning fights and ideally cleanly as well for the Legacy camp. Again,
there's another one.
Yeah, opening for Wolfie. Smothering out in the yard.
Only 1 from minus there. Kind of needed another, but MOTM finishing up Nissim. That's going to really start to snowball things in the favor of Marsborne. Lux is low. Sadzin's at 70. Combined 98 HP across the board for the Brazilian squad. 11 rounds all but secured here for Marsborne. They just have to put the period at the end of the sentence at this point, and they'll get full marks. Chop's little flank could find them. It's just more a question of who and when rather than if. Wolfie. Flashed. Taken out. Will not have bookend kills. That opens a door as the double molly comes in as well, but here comes Chop. Blindsides Lux, who's not ready for it. Grizz gets a freebie as well. Runs through the fire to grab the AWP. And 3 rounds separating Marsborne and their opposition. 2 from victory. And Legacy should not have a good buy in the next one, as no bomb plant. It's going to be entirely on loss bonus, which should be close to max at this point. But I would say Legacy need to call a timeout, and they do.
Much needed. They're going to go for an investment of some kind. Oh no, maybe a half buy instead. Tech 9's and armor with utility isn't a bad idea.
Oh. It can work.
It most certainly can. Marsborne's strong suit throughout this one, though, has been the fact that every individual is doing their part. Chop had a slow first half. At one point, he was at 4 and 11. But now the entirety of the team is within, 6 kills of each other. Grizz is at the bottom at 11.
Yeah, and he hasn't really been doing much on the
top at
CT side.
17. No, he hasn't. He hasn't had to do much.
No, MOTM's taken over. Wolfie's been consistent for 2. He's just stacking multi-frags. And there's MOTM for a lineup. So much damage. 1 while blind. Goes to the Deeg as Chop jumps down. Styling on Lato. 360 hip shot there, but a couple quick kills back from Dumau. And now things are a little shaky for Marsborne. In comes Minus, as he's run down as well. The op of Wolfie catches the threat, but Lux in a 1 versus 2. There are helmets, and he is low on health. But but they're both coming his direction. Here's a chance for Lux. He backs away after the first, continues to spray, and Grizz times it to perfection. 12 rounds for Marsborne. Op will be recovered with plenty of time for the defuse. And 4 rounds of map point for the Americans as Legacy are on the ropes in map number 1.
Good trade from Grizz. You can see the panic coming through for Lux. 20 HP, just spamming the Galil in sheer desperation that Grizz would walk through into the spray. He's getting a little bit chaotic, a little bit hairy over on the A site with that 30 bullet spray through the smoke for MOTM and that drop from Chop. But the round does not fall by the wayside for the defense. 12 to 8, as you mentioned, 4 map point opportunities. And this was their opportunity, their chance to get it to 3, given the fact that Inferno is going to be such an uphill battle. Wolfie slinking in towards Trophy. Marsborne getting confident, getting a little bit cocky, I dare say. And for good reason. Minus out in Garage gets 1. Wolfie pushing Trophy, finds a second, and his teammate does so much damage to another. Minus doubles down with Lux. Lato's on 1 HP. Sadzine's at 54, and now it's Lato on literally 1. Versus not quite the world, but still 4/5 of his opponents. Chop does him away with 1 bullet from the M4, and Marsborne take their map pick, 13 to 8.
What a performance from Marsborne up and down the lineup. Grizz was a menace in that first half. Wolfie and MOTM really took control in the second.
Very interesting in that department because Marsborne are a CT-sided team on this map, whereas Legacy are a T-sided team on this map. We'll have to see how that kind of plays out as these teams go head-to-head, but we came into this thinking it was going to be a 2-1 at best. It was going to go to 3 if Marsborne wanted to have a chance. Now I think there is a non-zero, and in fact, I saw at least 10 to 30% chance that they could steal it away in 2.
I'm very tempted to push your 30% upper end to something closer to 45. Solely because of how well Marsborne played that CT side and how T-sided Legacy are on this map. Granted, still have a plus 50% win rate on the defense, but Marsborne played the far better Counter-Strike. Not just individual, they played the better game. As a team, with strategy, they did their homework too from the looks of it. Legacy were not really prepared at all for Marsborne and what they had to throw at them, and I think Marsborne are really chomping at the bit here to stir the pot in this playoff. And on the pistol round, Minus does take some early damage as Legacy group up for a mid-push, leaving 1 towards apartments. It's a 4-stack B as well, which the retake's going to have to be fast and furious unless Minus does something incredible from 22 HPs. He's just scaling away, trying to stay alive, and that will not last long. Retake's coming through, but Legacy have done the heavy lifting, which was only 1 kill on the A side. It's going to be a tough retake for Marsborne here as that bomb's about to go down. And they're swarming on through. Sadzine's got an easy kill on a Chop. And it does not bode well for Marsborne. Pistol round 1, map 2.
No, it doesn't. Grizz and Apartments looking for the first. Up close, that Glock should have the advantage, but Grizz wins the fight nonetheless. Second at bat, tries to find it from Graveyard, and he will. It's a lot, though, to get Grizz, Sadzine to drop Wolfie, and now MOTM. He had a sterling first map, but in a 1v3 with no kit on the belt, I don't know where that kit was dropped either. I think he's looking for that exact piece of utility. Yes, he is. He'll grab that. But he's hoping to stay alive, and stay alive cleanly, might I add. If he can keep his Kevlar in play, he can easily buy a helmet for the next round, and that is exactly what he's going to try and do. The issue is Dumao is already beginning to try and hunt him down. OTM won't give the fight, so he'll survive with full Kevlar and a kit on the belt.
We'll see if Marsborne want to go for a full force off the back of that. Minus already going in, armor and 5.7. MOTM using that armor, buying a helmet and a FAMAS. MP9 for Grizz. It's a full force in action. 3 helmets as well, up against 4 Galils. Not a single AK for Legacy. Could be a problem for them. And the MAC-10 for Dumao. Both teams have had some success on the weaker buys. We'll see if it comes through here again. It started off pretty close and contentious on the first map.
Yeah, it did. Back and forth. I think it was 4-4 at some point.
It was.
You mentioned both teams having success on the pistols / half buys / force buys. This is force buy central. That is what Inferno's known to be. Riz, though, is being held for. Lato takes down the player without a helmet. It's a big one to find. One of the only primaries in this round for Marsborne.
Not sure how I like that push.
I like the push. It's just that Legacy are too ready for it. They're holding. They know that Marsborne have to make the move. They know that Marsborne are on the back foot. Marsborne, it's Inferno. There's not many places you can push. So Legacy are easily able to hold almost every opportunity.
Looks like a B lean from Legacy, at least trying to get some information. They do find one. That is Wolfie. He's the only one here, and he's going to close the gap around the corner. Takes down one, continues his aggression. No, he'll back away and safely, but the bomb is here towards B. No rotations available. 20 seconds to go. This is winnable for Wolfie. If he gets a couple of quick kills here, will not rotate. He hears the push is coming through. Spots him out, but that's a great headshot from Lux. That should be the round now. The lurk from Nissim to try and do a little damage, but with that kill, if I'm Marsborne, I'm thinking about going for this here. You got 2 rifles, you have a kit, you don't have any utility, sure, but there was a chance they could have made something happen, but they are going to go for the more conservative play and save it out here on the A site. I don't know, I feel like there was an opportunity there for Marsborne to try and do more damage at the very least.
Do more damage here or do it in the next round, I guess, is their priority instead. 2 rifles. Not much utility, as you mentioned, but these can still do a lot in the round following. Legacy, will they just invest into AKs for Nissim and Dumao, or will they go for Mac 10s expecting the save instead? Depends on how worried they are of those saved rifles.
I presume they'll just hold again. Wait for a push, wait for a peek, and then pick it off again. Marsborne using a timeout already?
We're talking about a buy, potentially, or a half buy.
Oh, MOTM got dropped that 5-7. Curious.
No investments.
I don't know how I feel about it.
I don't either. Let them see exactly what their play is or what they have in mind. Do they go for something aggressive? Nade stack probably seems like the right call, yeah. Got 2 of those purchased up.
So they're going to nade Molotov down B.
Yeah, do or die on banana.
And no one's there for Legacy. They're just holding.
They're going to do what they've done since pistol round until it doesn't work. They're just going to sit bottom mid, get 2 players up alt mid, or 1 to 2, I should say. They only got 1 up in the first pistol round. I just go from there.
Chunky. Look at that damage, Nate.
And it's good damage, finally punishing those that just sit at T stairs. Legacy still aren't dissuaded from holding their ground. They want an opening. And until they get it, they aren't going to commit in either direction.
At this point, if you're Marsborne, you have to be content to just sit and wait. Because Legacy are just going to try and pick you off at range. They have the firepower advantage, and they do have a bit of an advantage playing a defensive angle as well. So take advantage of your defensive nature and force Legacy to make a play. See if you can get an error out of them. And they're going to go into the stack on B, too. This is best case scenario for Marsborne, although they don't have the rifles. They don't have the FAMAS. So that is there. Wolfie's gonna roast, chops around, there's 1 for him. Can the IGL do more? No. They do expect a 3rd as well, but they're not gonna clear out MOTM, who could stop the plan, and goes for 2! Takes out Nissim before he falls, and the cavalry, while not yet arriving, is on its way. Minus going through CT, Grizz to pick up something from Banana. Won't probably grab anything. He'll be stuck on the USP, but Lux is on 28 HP. Bomb planted for the stack towards Dark. Dark and New Box is the play. Minus holding for New. Grizz walking up. If Grizz can get an upgrade, that would really help out, but instead, he's taken out. Minus knows where one is. Does he know the second? Not yet. Has the idea. Now he knows where they both are. Has his kit as well. No util has to go in for kills. And he's spammed through the wall by Lato. 3-0 early start for Legacy. That T-sided Brazilian flare working in the early going on Inferno. But now we finally get a full buy from Marsborne. We have yet to have that from them. And now a technical pause. So we'll see what comes of this as well, as the replay will grace our screen for now. We'll see how long we have of technical problems here.
Hopefully not too long. Marsborne
was
at
quick.
least... Yeah, that was really quick. Marsborne did well to at least do damage. Left 2 alive. Means that Legacy don't have much of a bank left over. They have some on Lato, Lux, and Sadzine. 2 of those players just at 2k, Lato at 3.4. But they don't have quite the T economy you would expect them to have given a 3-0 start. Marsborne as well, now finally onto the rifles, the meat and potatoes of this defense. We have Wolfie on the op. The issue is we have 3 players lacking helmets, and that means that Galil on Nissim could still do tremendous damage.
Yeah, the Galil's not bad if your opponent does have a helmet. Even if it does, you're still sitting with basically an M4 here. Chop taking a lot of damage on that early banana scrim. Just gonna have to back away, bolstered up by MOTM, smokes thrown simultaneously by both sides, allowing some repositioning from the CTs. MOTM caught in the open, but he's able to get across and safely. I don't believe the bomb was spotted, but Legacy are now very wary of a push through bottom mid. Nissim, the only man lurking around in apartments, and he could get caught here. There's a couple players in his area. Wolfie's gonna clear it with the op, and he will get his opening with his favorite gun. And a good sign for Marsborne fans is Wolfie on the board with a big green.
On the board and back to finding entries. Marsborne, though, are making the wrong read. They think that there's one player here, no one to trade. That means he's a lurk and it's going to be towards B. But in fact, it couldn't be further from the truth. Marsborne are at least keeping players in close rotation, in close proximity. But Grizz is going to have a lot to do from bit. Wolfie, the support, finds one. Wolfie trades out Grizz and could find more as well. Jumping back up, he can't hit the flick. Sadzine gets the headshot, but in the meanwhile, the CT side has come through the smoke. Minus takes 2 away from the round and finally puts Marsborne on the board, 1-3. 3 players survive as well. It's okay for the CT economy. And perhaps most importantly, that op stays in play for Wolfie. We do have another, what I can only hope to be, brief technical pause.
Might need a medic. I'm not sure if the player who DC'd had a buy from the last round or not. If the player did have a buy, then we'll have to get a medic. We'll find out. I hope not. Those can take a minute. Okay, I don't yeah, no, we won't need a medic here, I don't think. We'll just have to wait for Grizz to get back in the server. Instead of ragdolling on the ground, being lazy. Come on.
Hopefully it'll
match
be brief,
to watch.
But yeah. Stare longingly into those eyes. I'm not sure we're going for the patch instead. Marsborne. They had a similar start to this on the first map. Were they down 1-3? Was it 1-2?
1-2. They got their first gun round, though, which was third round because they were on T side.
That is true. That makes more sense. Legacy have changed up the pace a bit as well. They aren't sitting down bottom middle nearly as long now. They know utility can punish them, so they're going for earlier plays like we saw pushing down Banana in that round prior. We'll have to see where they direct their ire in round number 5 as we are finally back into it. Grizz has re-entered the server. He's on an MP9. Legacy, a hodgepodge of weapons. 2 Galils, Tech 9, Deagle, AK. Lotto's been on a heater to start off this map as well. 8-1 for him.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great start for Lotto. Not a great start for anybody else on this team, but they haven't really needed it. It's been Lotto, and they haven't really had much else. Sadzeen's got 3, is the next closest. 1-1-1. Grizz, who is having some tech problems, hopefully will be able to get back on the board here as a key part of the firepower of this Marsborne side. We'll see if he's looking a little bit better here. Utility exchanges and a little bit of positioning taken. Lux goes aggressive. Wolfie's not ready to back up minus, and there's the opening pick for Legacy. Traded out to a 4 versus 4s. They're going in for an A commit. Wolfie goes for seconds, but he's caught double dipping. Grizz now has MOTM. 2 players here. They focus on Grizz, who gets nothing. MOTM just 1. And that's the round for Legacy. No chance for Chop on a retake here. And the 1 round for Marsborne isolated. The opposite of what you need on a CT side bodes well for Legacy here on their map pick.
As it does, and the economy for Marsborne isn't good enough to soak up these losses. Meaning the next investment's going to be all over the place, if not next to nothing. Nissim can scavenge around for a rifle upgrade. It looks like those issues plaguing Grizz have not ceased either, which is unfortunate. Solid 4-1 start, though, for Legacy, isolating that single-round victory for Marsborne, and now making the CT's hopes and aspirations far more difficult on this first half.
Well, we have another technical pause, and we have another Grizz disconnect. So we'll wait to get back into the action here. This one looks to be a little bit longer. So, we'll see. Legacy, though, doing well in this early portion of this second map. Their pick, again, of Inferno. Decider is Ancient, where we will go should Legacy put this one on the board and avoid the 2-0. Marsborne, though, as a whole, just haven't been able to hold the line. Even though it's been mostly the Lotto show, we got a little bit more from the rest of the squad last round. Sadzeen's going to pull out the T-side op too, which is an interesting choice on Inferno. I'm curious to see how it'll work, and also as to what Marsborne will bring into this round as well, not having as much financial incentive to buy a lot. But Marsborne need to start getting rounds and getting rounds quickly, because each one that goes by just makes it easier and easier for Legacy to punch the ticket to the third map.
Yes, it is. I was hoping Marsborne would translate their early successes into more. Maintain that momentum, but of course, that does not appear to be the case. Sadzeen's op, as you mentioned, not the most desired weapon on the T side of this map, but still, I would say more serviceable than it is on the T side of Nuke. Even the producers getting in on the fun now, trying to vie for time. Chicken Cam is active.
Love me some Chicken Cam.
We all do.
We need more maps with chickens in the pool.
Yeah. Should add some chickens to Overpass and bring it back.
Yeah, please bring back Overpass. I miss that map. Also, hearing rumors that Cash might be added too, which wouldn't be bad. I'd like to play Cash again, at least see how it plays in its current iteration.
I heard that it wouldn't be added.
There was some stuff today that said that it might get added, so we'll see.
So much drama.
The intrigue, the political intrigue of the map world in Counter-Strike is unrivaled.
Grizz appeared and disappeared, it looks like. As our hopes for another short tech pause, I think at this point have been thoroughly dashed.
I agree. Definitely not getting a short tech pause here. In other news, it gives us a chance for an out-of-town scoreboard.
That is true. Who's doing what over on the other streams?
NRG up 5-4 on Blue Jays, map 2. Akimbo 6-4 up on Party Astronauts, map 2. And that's got to be a bug. That's definitely a bug, saying that we're on attack timeout. Let's go. Grizz is back. Quickly. Vagrant's up 2-0 on Nouns, map 2. There we go. Out-of-town scoreboard. Brought to you by Boggs and Pineapple Phillips.
I didn't bring it this time. And no pause means that it looks like the issue has been fixed, and it's going to be a half buy around the AK as well. Some upgraded pistols, no deagles to be spoken of. Minus on a P250, everyone else on 5.7s. OK utility on the belt of MOTM as well. And Legacy are back to their roots, sitting bottom of T stairs and waiting for someone to do something.
They're going a little bit faster, though.
Yeah, they're activating quicker this time, which is good. Marsborne, though, are taking control of top banana quickly in kind. Sadzine finds the opening on the Wolfie with a nade. Chop will retain control of top B, but actually falls back as I say that.
I think that's a smart play. He was essentially one and done from sandbags there.
It is. Linus and Grizz are both in the apartments. Contact finally taken. Nissim finds the opener. Grizz, though, an opportunity, misses the shots, gets one at least. That's a kill, that's some damage, but the round still feels like it's going the way of Legacy at this stage, and Marsborne are already cutting ties with it as well. MOTM has Kevlar he can save, Chop has that AK, and Legacy will have a 5th on the board for their troubles.
A 5th and great potential for more. It's early on in this map still, but Legacy are really making a case to head to Ancient and quickly. Lato starting to cool off a little bit more, but the rest of the squad is starting to pick it up. I'm sure we'll see less kill totals on the T side just because of the save nature of this map. If you're winning rounds consistently on the T side, your overall kill count's not going to be that high compared to others because it's going to be Save Simulator 2025, also known as Inferno. Hasn't had an update, though, so it might be, what, 2023 at this point, still?
It's still Inferno in heart.
Terrorists win.
Remember Inferno with the old banana with the pillars and everything?
Yeah, good Inferno, you mean? Back when it was even more CT-sided?
Inferno was where Cloud9 had their 15-11 comeback at the Boston 2018 Major.
Yes.
And then Ancient's kind of become at least my favorite third map decider for the drama.
I like Ancient, I like Anubis. Finally, another rifle buy on board, though. Wolfie again has his op.
Minimal utility,
perhaps. Lackluster utility. Legacy have not had to change a thing about their default. Nothing has gone wrong thus far, so why change it? Marsborne still unable to get a grasp on exactly what Legacy are going for.
Marsborne need to win a couple quickly in a row. So far, their only round victory has been left on its own. I would say Marsborne need 3 in a row here to make something out of this half. Ideally, they win 6 in a row and close out the half 7-5. That's not very likely. Even a 6-6 is a little unlikely. If Marsborne can get to 5, then maybe they can cook something up on the second half, but they need to start winning rounds. They need to start doing it now, and MOTM needs to clear his right. He's going to run right into Lux, and man, everything just slanting in the favor of Legacy, and Marsborne cannot catch a break. There may be
breaks
one.
to be caught. Wolfie gets one, Lato trade, and this player isolated pillar. No chance for Wolfie. 2v4, 1v4, minus should be saving at this point. Save Simulator 2025. Another quiet end to a Legacy victory is they have already at least tied up this first half, but are well poised to get to double digits. I would say 10 or 11 are feeling likely because, again, Marsborne just aren't seeing the grand picture of this legacy default.
They're seeing, I don't even know if they're seeing the back of the tapestry, Nate. They're seeing the back of the tapestry through a medieval era mirror. They're seeing some colors and shapes, but no details.
Because it has been more or less the same thing. One person going alt mid with some slight subtlety. That's how it always is for the lurk. And everybody else bottom T steps. That's been the play.
Yeah. And it's
Get banana control, and it's worked. Yeah.
And they've also been winning their entries, too. And then last round, if Lux gets caught there, it's probably a little different. But even then, with that kind of entry work on the B site, it probably still ends in a save.
It's true.
Rough times here for Marsborne on map 2. Again, Legacy's map pick is Inferno. Marsborne won their pick of nukes 13-8, so if you're a Marsborne fan, don't get too stuck in the mud just yet. Third map is Ancient, which looks to be more and more likely as we continue this one. Double up in apartments. Clean victory for Nissim. That is something that cannot be allowed to happen. And he'll tag Wolfie down for 38 HP. Good little flick from Wolfie to get revenge, but revenge is a dish best served cold. That one just brings it back to parity.
He split potentially on the cards as Arch Control is taken. Lato and Lux both slowly slinking forward, and Chop has no dang idea.
He done. I
Looking
love
for
the
both.
discipline there, just to see if there's anybody else early.
Don't
Maybe a
clear
little too quick,
MOTM though.
Yeah.
How does he stick around for this long? Second oranges. Surely he doesn't find a second. That is correct. He does not. Wolfie gets a trade. It's actually even footing. Op versus op potentially, but now
Minus
it's a flank for Marsborne. Timing. Minus gets one good trade from the Mao. Leaves Wolfie now in a 1v1 on about 60 HP. Bomb is in the dirt. And I don't know if there's a kit in play or not. Wolfie inching forward. Should expect this angle. It's one of many, but he just doesn't clear it with the due diligence required. 7-1 Brazil scoreline, this time in Brazil's favor, as Legacy are trouncing Marsborne on their own map pick.
That was so many World Cups ago now.
Yeah.
And I also believe that was the highest Brazil has finished in a World Cup since then. If anyone in chat
Brazil
wants to fact check me on that, please do.
Slacking in Counter-Strike and slacking in soccer? I guess
Their
football?
national team has not been good lately.
Marsborne again pistols, again a half-buy. We have a deagle this time for minus. Utility damage onto the op of Sadzine, but no kills. Even more onto Sadzine and Dumau, who are now both at half HP. But when it comes to fights, Legacy will be heavily favored.
Even that little bit of chip damage, it's not enough. There needs to be more from Marsborne. Also, you kind of need some rifles to clean up those low HP players. Makes it a lot easier. His Legacy are walking into the stack, but they're not fully committed. 2 players plus the bomb still down bottom mid. The ladder making its way up towards the site. Full commit now coming through. Nissim, does he clear right? Yeah, I think he saw minus. MOTM does get 1. Nissim does get that opener, though, and Lato does trade out Wolfie. MOTM falls to the very same. Nissim doubles up as well. And Chop on the backstab. Cut down himself. And so, an 8-1 scoreline for Legacy, as map number 2 firmly under their control. Another buy coming forth here from Marsborne, but Legacy are hitting all the shots, pulling out all the stops. And looks like Legacy have realized the situation which they find themselves in here, down a map in a best of 3, in the lower bracket of playoffs.
Gone their acts together. 8-1. It's been a fast one in terms of overall action and gunfights, but it's been very slow because of the trepidatious defaults, technical pauses, and rampant saving.
Classic Inferno.
Yeah, it's the Inferno special. Up on both sides once more. Wolfie's had okay impact, but he needs more. I say that his whole team needs more impact. Chops at 1. Grizz is at 2. He's the man you look at to really fire up this team. And there's a start we needed to see. Wolfie peeking middle, finding Lotto early. Needs to be weary of the op of Sadzine, though, which is still in play. That op is actually looking towards B rather than mid.
Well, there's an opening for Marsborne for the first time in what seems an eternity. But can they hold on to this advantage is the better question. Grizz misses that opening, that second opener. He needed that. Molotov onto his position, smokes it off, nade onto his angle, and I think now Legacy are going to lean more towards B where the bomb is already there. Dumao up on Banana as well. In the lull here, though, we do have an update, Nate. Brazil's biggest win was also 7-1. Back in 1950 against Sweden. Hat tip production for that one.
75 years ago.
Ooh, what a shot!
Wolfie had the right idea, had the right angle. Lux, though, has the shots. This is the kind of individual prowess I was expecting to see from him and his team. He finds Grizz as well. Minus in mini pit has to do it all. He's gotten one, a dink onto a second, but nothing more. 2 versus 3 for MOTM and Chop, who are across the map. It's going to be Save Simulator once more. 9-1 for Legacy. And at this point, I'm not even looking forward to the second half. I'm looking forward to map 3.
I'm right there with you. At this point, I'm just like, all right, Legacy, just finish this off. If Marsborne want to go on a miracle run and turn this around, be my guest, please. But the odds of that happening very low from the looks of things. And I think for Marsborne, it's just get ready for map 3. Get ready for Ancient, the map that you've done well on against Legacy. Not quite a win, but it was close. Both Ancient and Anubis, very close bouts between these two sides in the regular season. There are only 2 prior meetings. Just chopping MOTM save again.
It was a 13-9 victory for Legacy on Ancient. For those of you who need reminder.
4
that was
rounds,
when the team
not
was
too
still
bad.
relatively young.
That's also
Yeah.
true.
Only 4 rounds separating them is definitely not a paltry showing at all. No op for Wolfie. Try with the likes of Sadzine. Now do we switch things up, Marsborne? We boost up towards Porch, we fight down Banana, and a little bit of luck is what's needed. Gets 1 for MOTM. Chop, though, is traded. Well, he does do a lot of damage to Lux. Minus worried about Lotto, who is already here, and that's quite the headshot from the top gun of Legacy on this map. Grizz and Wolfie, though, immediate trades. That gives Marsborne the first advantage they've had in quite a while. Legacy reading it right, quickly pivoting back towards B. MOTM is the only person here. It looks like Sadzine knows exactly where he is. Sadzine racing forward, runs out of ammo. MOTM gets that kill, and Lux on low HP can't get the trade. Marsborne finally double up their score line, but still find themselves trailing by 7 as we enter the final round of this first half.
Yeah, the penultimate round goes their way, and if they can get the ultimate round of the first half, that would give them something. A pistol round win plus a string, and they're back in the game. But can they get a second in a row? Thus far on Inferno, they're 1 round isolated. Pretty obvious given the fact that this was their second round, but now if they lose this one, both of their rounds isolated. Not winning rounds in bunches is a good way to lose a game of Counter-Strike.
There's no momentum being built.
No, you're not going to have the money, you're not going to have, well, just sheer numbers. At the end of the day, it's a numbers game. Who gets to 13 first? first. And it's a lot easier to get to 13 first if you're winning multiple rounds in a row than if you're going one at a time.
Yes, it is. No op for Wolfie yet again. Don't hate the call.
I don't
I like how
know.
Marsborne has changed things up by fighting Banana.
It's been a good adjustment. Hasn't always worked out for them, but it's been a good change. It's given them more chances to be in the round.
It's just been so much harder to fight Banana now that that cubby has been extended so far. You can't do nearly as much utility damage. Marsborne, though, doubling up Sandbag. Cleared by Lux. He gets one trade from Chop, but can he find two? No. The Mao gets the trade instead, secures the advantage. Now a 4v3 going into what should be a post plant shortly. Wolfie tries to find something, but to no avail. Timing just isn't in his favor when he pops that smoke. Bomb plant goes down. No reason to save this time around, Marsborne. They will try something. Grizz is so far removed from the action. A retake at this stage of the round would be quite the statement from Marsborne.
It has to be fast, it has to be furious, and it has to start with an opening pick, but it's Zop who answers the call of duty. Make it a second for him. Nissim the last around the corner, and he'll take out Wolfie too. 10-2, a massive lead for Legacy heading into the second half on the other side of the break.
A disappointing start to the second map in this best of three series for Marsborne, who find themselves leagues behind Legacy. We're set atop of the scoreboard at 10-2 entering the CT side of this map. It's Pineapple Phillips and Boggs on the mic. And Legacy with only 3 rounds left to secure their map pick and send us off to the decider of Ancient. This round is live. Lato dueling down Banana. Get some information, falls back. He's baiting these opponents in for the duel on Dumao at Sandbags. Sadzine, meanwhile, is the other duelie player towards Apartments. Grizz, one. Trade from the duelies, but only good for one. Good trade from Wolfie, and kind means that Lux has a lot to do on this B site. He's alone. He's found one, repositioned, but has Glocks now running him down. 1 bullet left in the chamber, and the mag does not find it. Tries to stay alive. Hold on for your dear life. Hold on for rotations, and he might have just done so. Chop, no. Finally fells him. Sadzine, though, gets the trade. Sadzine now finds himself in a very manageable 1 versus 3 into 1 versus 2 situation.
No bomb plant either means this is very winnable for Sadzine. Takes contact, knows where they both are. All the information working for Sadzine. Dual Berettas. You cannot push those if you are Marsborne. Safe plant here from Minus. Sadzine will let it happen. Minus peeks out. Sadzine has Chop. Damage on the Minus. 2 HP with no HP. Sadzine, he comes through, but the time that was bought at New Box allows Sadzine to make this happen. No bomb plant here. They get the defuse. They get the 1 versus 3 from Sadzine. And that was a brilliant piece of work from the Opper. And just when you think things can't get worse for Marsborne, it does.
11-2. 2 rounds away from a statement second map to start off what could potentially be a reverse sweep. Legacy. Solid investment. FAMAS an M4 and an MP9 versus Marsborne on a full fleet of Galils with next to no utility.
I respect the moxie. It's not necessarily the best idea in practice.
They're out of time.
That's why.
They gotta do something, right? Trades do work out, though. Nissim finds Chop, though, retaining the advantage for Legacy. Final 2 both going Arch. Nissim not expecting it at all. And now this is a real opportunity. 2 versus 2. No utility to hold off the retake, but it's Galils versus a FAMAS and an MP9.
Did Nissim think that his Arch player was still alive? Or that his rotate had already come through?
That's what it seemed like, because he was completely exposed.
It was full tunnel vision done lane. That's a blunder. A big blunder. Mini pit cleared, but not big pit. MOTM 1 versus 1. There's no time. Marsborne will grab a third despite losing MOTM. Bye-bye,
Lothar
Lothar.
doesn't live. Yeah, no chance.
He had to give
Marsborne,
it its best shot.
yeah, might as well. Marsborne delay their fate a little bit longer, but I'm still not a believer. (11-3) now, again trailing by 8. Looks like they're gonna go for the forest buy. Lato had a FAMAS and Kevlar with no money left in the bank. This is the kill that set the round. Lato doing some crazy work with that MP9, but not enough in the end. Investment. Pistols and a hero FAMAS for Lato. Good utility damage done by Legacy against the aggressing player's Banana.
Lato got a couple of dinks to the wall there, but he doesn't get the kill, as it's pistols left for the rest of them. A boost up, a double boost over on B, and they're just going to go for the triple stack. They're going all in. Call it the double-double. Marsborne are going to walk into this here. And there's no way they're ready for the double-double up here. Dumao and Sadzine, both up top. All they got to do is turn around and night. 2 2 kills from the stack, 1 from each, and it pays off doubly for the double-double. Lux at range, tapping with the 5-7, does a lot of damage, can't get the kill. Dumao adds another. Nissim inside Zine. Nissim has the FAMAS, rather, as the Galil's a minus, and Chop will look to put this round in Marsborne's favor. Bomb plant not yet down. Minus jumping around the fountain, repositioning. Chop getting it down. Front coffins. Nice spray by Minus, but he's running out of ammunition. Dink down by Sadzine. And now the double peek comes through. Sadzine and Nissim both come in the same direction. They don't clear New Box. They don't clear him New Box. They know where he is.
They don't finish what they started. Minus on 6 HP, gets the final 2 and 3 in the round. His teammate, similarly low, is instead the object of Marsborne's Legacy's obsession, excuse me. That proves to be Legacy's undoing. 11-4. The forest fight does not quite pan out. And so we will see a humbling of Legacy, who will go for the save. 1 P250 for Dumao, a Zeus for Sadzine. And what should be a chance for Marsborne to secure a 5th.
We'll get the opener on Deluxe. Chop will add some bank account money with that. The Mac 10 kill, the SMG, always good for building money. Sadzine does get 1 on the USP, which is quite nice, I guess, if you're looking for economic damage.
Just a Mac 10 dropped.
That's acceptable losses. Another round for Marsborne to live. They only have 1 more round as a margin for error, too. So we'll see what comes of this remainder of this map. Still need a little bit more for me to really, truly buy into Marsborne.
I need to see a rifle round. And a clean one as well. Legacy pulling out all the stops in round 17. Amos for Lux. Op with no utility and no Kevlar for Sadzine. He'll think better of that instead of going for the M4. Marsborne still have a Mac 10 on MOTM. Still have a Galil on Grizz. So Legacy contemplate fighting for banana control. Very good damage onto MOTM, but if there's a player you want hurt, it would be the Mac 10 player.
Yeah, Cinnamon is a human sacrifice. First guy in, first one down. Still a heavy banana lean here from Marsborne. Haven't really committed for anything yet. Legacy are not overextending. They're holding, waiting for Marsborne to come to them. Almost like what Legacy did on the T side. Except this is the side you're supposed to do that on. But they're very comfortable just waiting. Have to imagine them sat back, relaxed, sipping a beverage of choice. Maybe reading a book, you know, out by the pool.
Marsborne.
But here comes the take.
Yep, Hall's Pop is the name of the game. Nissim is in pit. Get support from Sadzine on site. Lux instead is the one to find the first. Sadzine a second. Nissim the third. All 3 on A site chiming in. And sweet harmony. The final 2. MOTM and Wolfie. Should not be long for this world unless they go for the save. Saving a Mac 10 would be more than unfortunate for MOTM.
That would be... Oh, he's got an AK now. That's savable.
Yeah.
Mac 10 would have been very questionable. AK checks out. Gonna be 7 rounds in a row necessary now for Marsborne.
Yes, it would. Wolfie can drop Chop, or he could give Chop the AK and buy an op if he wants. 7 map points for Legacy on their map pick. It's been quite a return to form for them.
They woke up on their map pick, had a bit of a stumble and stupor on Nuke. Inferno has been where they've caught fire. We'll see if they can put it all together on Ancient here, which seems an inevitability and has for quite a while. Just one more round and we do prepare for that third and final map of this elimination matchup here. Dumau sprays down the first, takes a good amount of damage. Nissim's also low at 44. Marsborne still leaning towards B. No full commitment yet. Letting Grizz try and operate around enemy lines. Wolfie entering up brackets with the op, looking for that pick. That will not come. Bomb. Left bottom T stairs. 3 players brackets, 1 player banana. 50 seconds on the clock. A move must be made.
It's a walking deluxe. Is he cleared? Yes, but the shot is missed. Both parties failed to find the kill. Now Marsborne is stuck between a rock and a hard place. Might trying to make space. Might just get caught by Dumau, who has low HP. Dumau wins the fight in spite of that. Grizz activates as the lurk on B, and he'll actually get a kill. The race will come back around to this B site. They have a smoke for the cross as well, just in the nick of time. 20 seconds left, and the bomb will hit dirt. Legacy, though, in a 4v3, do they want to go for it? They seem hesitant because of their lackluster HP, but it looks like they will try for it at the very least.
They're going to give it a shot. They have the man advantage. They have a couple of kits. Utility dunks on Dumau, but it's now a 3 versus 2. So kill came through just before. 1 from Sadzine, 1 remaining. It's Chop in pit. They know where he is. Sadzine, sidearm, jumps over, traded by Nissim. And Legacy will put it across the line. Took up a little bit longer than it maybe should have, but 13-5 is perfect for Legacy as they advance to a third map against Marsborne here. Both teams taking their map picks. Legacy's quite a bit more dominant than Marsborne's was. But regardless of that fact, Nate,
have their side of choice. Probably the CT side if I had to guess, but we'll wait and see as they make their predictions or their plans and game plans strategy for this third and final.
Yeah, both teams do favor the CT side. 57.1% for Legacy, presuming they will start there, which they do. 52.8% for Marsborne. 46.3% on their attack, though. But for Legacy, both sides above 50%. That is a good spot for them to be in, regardless of where they start. But if they can win this first half pistol, get out to an early lead, they can begin to lock things down. Double dualies, Lux and Dumau. No diffuser for Legacy. They're looking to win this with raw power, unlimited power maybe, as MOTM charges all the way through. Chop does fall first as Lato backs away. Minus catches off Nissim as now the split comes back in towards a double up from Grizz, and the Grizzlers open up this map and given Marsborne a lead, which is something they've not had in a long time unless Lato and Dumau can get this 10-second defuse to work. Minus is cutting off the rotation. He's getting the info. He's spotted out 1, goes out swinging and does fall down. In comes second try. That's Wolfie. He'll get a reload off and a dink on Dumau as the bomb ticks away more and more, making it further and further out of reach for Legacy. They're not even going to attempt this anymore. And so Marsborne, pistol round victory converted. Map number 3. But it's just a start. However, double from Grizz is a very good sign.
So the biggest thing I think we were missing in that second map from Marsborne was the individuals, and specifically Grizz. Now, Grizz was cursed at the start. He didn't have, or he had technical problems. Didn't have a really fair shot. to start things off right. But we're glad to see he's back in action and looking solid in this decider when his team needs him the most. Legacy, do they go for an investment? They do. Lotto on a Deagle. 5-7s. 5-7s and Deagles, in fact, is the entire buy for Legacy. Marsborne. Some Mac 10s, some AKs, and one Galil for minus. Marsborne win this one. They should have an easy breeze to a third.
Starts with one. They need more. Cleaning up the force buy would go a long way to building some confidence into this third map as well. And setting us up for a good time. Because whether you're a fan of Marsborne, a fan of Legacy, or just a fan of Counter-Strike in general, you want to see the best match possible. We'll see if Marsborne are going to give it to us. Sadzine opens it up. The lurk of minus out of A main is caught. And now Grizz goes down. Deagle headshot from Lotto. And things are looking a little rough and tumble for Marsborne. How can they get back into this one? What can they do to claw back in? Wolfie pushing through mid. Launched 4x2. And maybe even a second or a third one coming in through CT. A push from Nissim. And down falls Wolfie. The cards are being plucked one by one. Just the AKs of Chop and MOTM up against all. That's not clean enough. Needs to be cleaner here. Legacy can just push the smoke. That's exactly what they're going to do. They go in. Bomb plant down, but Chop falls after one. And we're tied at one as the Pistols work their magic again for Legacy, much like Nuke.
Get that man advantage, that insurmountable man advantage in a 5v2. Just use the numbers at that point. Don't overcomplicate it. Legacy played scrappy and keep three alive. All three with rifles as well. Very quick and swift retribution for Legacy off the back of their pistol round loss. And they're going to go for full rifles as well. They know that Marsborne are going to be tempted into a force buy because of that bomb plant. Or I should say they should be tempted. In fact, they aren't. Because of the plant, it means they can get rifles in the next round if they save. And so that's what they're going to go for. It's full Glocks, not a penny invested for Marsborne. We're likely looking to get this round over with as soon as possible.
Well, there's one for Dumao as he continues to scale down the ramp. The push coming through. Two for Dumao, one for Lotto. 5-7 out. And MOTM is expected behind the doors. One angle mollied, second angle likely known, and they'll probably not even push it. There's really no reason to. Never mind, they're going to go in. Dumao, one more. Sprays away. Knows what minuses. Does a lot of damage. And the push from Sadzine will do it in. Flawless anti-eco for Legacy. They take a one-round lead. And now Marsborne get us our first gun round here. 4 rounds into it all.
Legacy, though, already looking very deadly. The individuals firing on all cylinders. Will Marsborne be bringing out ops on this T side, or will they go for rifles? It's a cobbled together rifle buy. In fact, it's not as good as I was hoping it would be. 3 Galils, 2 AKs. But the utility is good, and that's very important on this map. Legacy still on a bit of a bonus as well with their salvaged Galil and that FAMAS from the round prior. Riz has timing onto one, but Lotto. It's actually Nissim instead to get that kill, excuse me. 4 versus 4 into a 4v3 as Marsborne take the advantage, but Lux is now stuck in a very difficult spot. Minus on low HP gets the kill before being traded. Marsborne still in advantage, but by a tenuous margin. 3v2, Sadzine and the mouse still have full HP. It looks like Marsborne are going to head in the direction of the stack. Though, as I mentioned it, the stack is dismantled. Sadzine heading back towards A instead, and Dumao might just get caught by Grizz in this off angle. No! It's the Mao instead to get the kill. Now Marsborne might rethink their strategy.
They might be forced to here, but in they go. Double up cave. Double down on Dumao. Sadzine, the last one standing, knows where they're going. Time not really going to enable Marsborne to run over to A. They're going to commit to what they have. Bomb planted. Sadzine 1 versus 2. Coming the same angle, Marsborne went as well, hoping for the same result. Has an opportunity to win the first duel. They're not expecting this at all. Wolfie's going to get spotted here. Gun barrel shows, peeks out. Clean win by Sadzine. Taps, holds, chop, around. Does he have time? He can get there, and he does. He stops the defuse in the nick of time, and Marsborne tie it up 2-2 early here. That came oh so close.
That was a gutsy call to try and stick the defuse. I do appreciate the gusto. The issue is Marsborne are not going to let that go away so easily. Sadzine can't quite get the defuse off in time. Back to a tied ball game. The issue was Legacy had some money built up from their flawless anti-eco, and Marsborne lost everybody but one to get that victory in round 4. That means both teams are going to have a bye, but there's some cracks showing. Famas for Lato and Galil for Grizz. Spam and duels in middle favor Legacy for the time being. Marsborne do find an opportunity to tie things up by virtue of Jaguar. 3 versus 3. The op of Sadzine is in play though, and that might be the differentiating factor as Chop peeks right into the angle. Sadzine biding his time, waiting for his teammates. Grizz wants to get this opening. Sadzine ready for it nonetheless. 1v3 for Wolfie. And where can he really go? Middle, I guess, but Nissim is here, holding for this exact play.
And he's got it. Legacy, splitting rounds back and forth with Marsborne, doesn't do well for the CT economy. That's one thing to keep an eye on. How long can Legacy support going round for round with Marsborne right now? Somebody has to break the deadlock. Somebody needs to get rounds together, rounds in a row. Marsborne on a half by actually going all in on a force. Not going to be the first one to just give it up for free. Tech 9s, a Glock, and a decent amount of utility considering the lack of funds. But Legacy getting aggressive here. Very counter to how they played on Inferno. Very in your face here on Ancient.
Almost
Showing
have to.
their versatility.
Flash over. It's going to be a play in towards B for Marsborne. They bypass short. The Mao at bat in cave gets one smoked off. Lux a second on a minus. Spam comes through, doesn't connect. Lux finds. She just found that first. Legacy very passive and pensive on this retake, wanting to make sure that no one's up close and personal. Nissim finds one. Nissim finds two. Blast it long. Does get a good dink at range, but no kill. Legacy a clean anti-force buy. That is now 2 rounds in a row. It allows them to build up some CT economy.
Yeah, the flawless anti-force does well for that too. For the bomb plant, at least Marsborne get that money. But it's,
But they forced.
I think, going to be the end of the force buy wars here. Yeah, they're going to go for a save. Glocks. Utility. And Glocks. P250 comes in late. Chop sells a nade for that. MOTM will buy the other one instead. A couple of nades to be used middle. Does a very minimal amount of damage. As Legacy continue to swarm tactic around. Push Marsborne into obscurity. There's a double up from Lato. Good flashbang over top by Sadzine. A site's not quite open. There is a player in Donut in Nissim. There could be a bomb plant here. Never mind. One headshot. Ops here. Sadzine and Nissim lock it down. 3 in a row on the bounce for Legacy. And Marsborne now, they have money again, but a timeout here would not be a bad idea to get as many rounds as you possibly can on this T side.
It would be well founded to do so. Find a way to counteract this aggression towards Snake and Cat. Catch a Legacy out early because Legacy have been running around and finding so much success. There is that timeout. And the issue is Legacy has kept these rounds clean. That means they're already building up a major CT economy. Very scary prospects for Marsborne, who do at least have a solid rifle by going into round 8. They don't get their act together quickly. It could slip out of their fingers sooner rather than later.
AK's up, but no op for Wolfie. A good practitioner of that weapon without it. It's a bit of a little bit of a dampener on this Marsborne T side. Lato looking to go aggro. Pushes out now with a flashbang. And that is exactly the counter Marsborne needed. One from Grizz onto Lato. Lux aggressing down middle, does have help from Nissim. He is careful of the snake push. Molly out, jumps up, spots a couple. Knows they're around, sprays away, but there's a backstab potentially here as well. One more from Grizz. MOTM comes in, trades out Wolfie. 4 versus 2 in favor of Marsborne. One problem, though. The bomb is not theirs. Sadzin, though, walks right into Chop, and Minus has another. Op for Wolfie, picked up by Chop. And Marsborne, off the back of the timeout, grab that round. It's time to start chipping away at that legacy economy, which was pretty good coming into this one, regardless of that last round loss, but a confident round victory by Marsborne. And Grizz again, couple of kills in the round, always a good sign.
Yes, it is. Economy already being chopped relatively low for Legacy. Maybe one more okay buy if they hit troubles. And Marsborne looking to change the pace yet again. Straight out A they'll go. 2 players here in Donut. Lux gets one, smoked off, and MOTM right as it blooms finds Nissim. Lux tagged down to 14. Sadzin finds Wolfie in the meanwhile though, giving Legacy an advantage on paper. Straight to the smoke, Dumao comes, but he doesn't clear the player close. Instead he tries to fight in the smoke, in the chaos. Sadzin falls back and bides his time. Lux low on HP here towards Donut. Sadzin 1, MOTM trade. 2 versus 3, and Sadzin is low on HP. MOTM 1 to the smoke. A second and a third, not quite. Lato brings it to a 1 versus 1, but time is of the essence. Flash out and a smoke in turn. Lato knows where he is, goes to the tap, goes for the stick, but the nade betrays his position. Lato now playing for pride. The round is over. And no matter what, the entire server should go down with the ship in this round, as Marsborne in the chaos do emerge with a second round in a row.
That was great work by MOTM. A turret around the site. Sprays one through the smoke, and then goes back to the players pushing through CT. What work done by MOTM.
Almost an ace too.
Yeah. Brilliant round from him, and then Grizz doesn't need to get that kill. He doesn't overextend for the kill. Plays very selfless. Just knows he has to prevent the defuse. If he would have overstayed his welcome and gone for an extended fight there's a good chance he loses that round. So really well done play by Grizz. A very veteran play. And he'll get that second man in trade on to Dumao, entering in up this B side. A fast play, as now an op shot missed by Sadzin allows Grizz to go for more. He's double dipped and the chance for a third. Wolfie taken down through the smoke by Lato. They know where he is, and up around MOTM. He's on fire as well. Vintage performance from him. It is return to the ESL Challenger League playoffs. Minus has to watch their 6, though. There's a flank coming through, and that's a Lux. Lux catches him off. Minus not ready for it. 2 versus 2. Bomb down to about half. No kit for the CT side. They have to hurry. Utility in. Flash goes high. MOTM and Grizz. Not what you want to be up against. And MOTM does it himself. Another hat trick. And a tie scoreline heading into the second to last round of the first half of Ancient. And this map keeps delivering.
Another slow start that doesn't quite end this first half. We still have 2 more rounds, but it will regardless end very contentiously regardless of who gets these final 2 rounds. And with Legacy's economy broken, Marsborne should get the 6th. Looking very good for Marsborne. Again, slow start, but very convincing. Lotto, though, beheads MOTM as he jumps to throw utility. And don't count these pistols out just yet. Legacy could pull it out of the hat once more. Lotto a second before being felled. Marsborne find themselves at a disadvantage on paper. 4 versus 3. Top point man spams the smoke, catches Nissim though. A bit of luck. The double flank could unseat everything. Lux won. Grizz a trade via Sadzine, but Lux has the op now, and he retains the advantage. 1v2 for Chop. He has the bomb. His opponents now have upgrades, and that makes things all the more unlikely. This flank from Cave, unexpected. Lux gets another 3 for him and 2 for Lotto as Legacy win a full save round to finally stymie the momentum that Marsborne has built up.
Another round that Marsborne lose to a nothing investment or a minimal one. Makes it very tough to win a game if you can't do it against the Pistols. Reminds me of a best of 5 between Riot Squad and INTZ back at MDL Global Challenge Season 31.
Don't date yourself.
Riot Squad had a map advantage, and they lost approximately 12 anti-half-buys or anti-ecos across the 4 maps remaining. And they lost the series.
Marsborne know they need to tighten things up. Granted, Lotto got a bit lucky there with that opening onto, I believe it was MOTM. Caught him jumping. Final round of the half, though. Marsborne gonna cobble together what they may. Tech 9, Deagle, AK, Mac 10, and Galil. Versus what is a very solid buy for Legacy because of that eco round victory.
Well, it's Marsborne's turn to get it done with the lesser weapons. And they're electing to go in on A. Quick rotation already here in the form of Sadzine. Chop looking for the lurk on Snake. Lotto keeping an eye on mid. Lots of damage done by Lux. Grizz goes down to Lotto. He's traded back, but MOTM finally found. More and more damage taken by Marsborne. They cannot sustain it as Nissim doubles up. Goes back for extra, but it's Sadzine in the end. And a 7-5 CT lead takes Legacy into that second half after the break. Legacy take a lead into the second half for the third time in our third map. Boggs and Pineapple Phillips on the call, and Lotto a drive-by on Grizz as A site wide open. The sprint to get the bomb down for Legacy here, looking to cement their spot moving forward in the playoffs and eliminate Marsborne in our barn burner of a lower bracket matchup between these two sides. How it's a lower bracket, I don't know, but it's definitely delivered everything. Dumau, Lotto, two more quick headshots. Just Minus and Wolfie, the last two standing. One in CT, one in Donut, and the deep fryer seems to be the end result for both of these two players. Just a matter of time unless they save. The armor on Minus, definitely an enticing thought to save that.
Wolfie, no reason to.
Spotted.
Yeah. I'd like to have gotten a kill, but he does not. Minus gets that kill cleanly, can still save his armor, but these players are all in his vicinity. Lux gets the kill. Sadzine goes down with the ship, but that's an acceptable loss. 8-5, building upon their lead, our Legacy. In those final two rounds of that first half, Marsborne had every advantage in round 11. Flubbed it versus the save, and then lost the 7th off the back of that economic disparity. Now Legacy are looking to put this one to bed. They are pretty solid on this T side, as you mentioned in the pregame, over 50% win rate. And Marsborne know they need rifles sooner rather than later. They're going for a full save. USPs and a P2K for Grizz. And a full B site stack for the Marsborne camp.
No reason not to go for a stack here if you're Marsborne. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, you weren't going to really win the round anyway. Lots of damage taken by Grizz, though, down to 7 HP. Minus Wolfie and Chop beginning their ambulation down the ram. Couple of kills coming through from Legacy. Make it 4. Make it 5. Flawless, very easy round victory. And Legacy now 4 rounds away from punching their ticket into the next round of playoffs. Unsure who their opponent will be just yet. That will not be decided as of now. But either way, whichever team holds on, it's not in for an easy time.
No, they are not. The only game that finished early tonight was Party Astronauts versus Akimbo. That was a 2-0. Everything else is still ongoing. Lots of close ones to start off this playoffs bracket. Full rifles for Marsborne. Actually, there's one MP9 for Grizz. I stand corrected. And that MP9 does good damage, but it does not find a kill, as it is felled by Lotto to start off this round for Legacy. Both teams exchanging blows. Minus and MOTM, both below half. Lux, though, on a sliver of HP in the Legacy camp.
A side's open. Just MOTM to defend. I say just MOTM because he's only 44 HP. If he had more, he might be able to come up with more than nothing. That's unfortunate.
That's the round.
I was expecting at least one out of him. That's
They
that
need
damage
one,
coming
ideally
through.
2.
He would need 2, but with 44 HP, it's not likely. And it's save time.
Yeah, one felt safe.
What was a safe assumption?
Fortunately, that MAC-10 is a very potent weapon, flying or not.
One of the faster fire rates in the game.
Yeah, it is. Eventually, we might get a combination of Marsborne's map 1 and map 2. It seems like it. Some individuals are still doing solid. MOTM, Minus, Grizz, all having their moments. Same with Chop, but Wolfie's really just struggling individually. I'm hoping they can get him an op sooner rather than later, but 2 and 14 is the definition of a struggle bus for the opera of Marsborne.
Yeah, he's had a rough time. And he does not have his op on the CT side, which is where he's gotten the bulk of his kills. He's been great on that CT side.
Time, though, of the essence. 3 rounds separate Legacy and Marsborne, or Legacy from victory against Marsborne, excuse me.
Look at that nade
And that
damage.
is so much utility damage onto MOTM. MOTM. I believe he was coming down the stairs in middle. He's down to 10 HP with no contact being taken. Legacy still running their legacy rifles from earlier on in this half. Galil's on 4/5 of the team.
Chop
Legacy.
down. MOTM so low.
They're stacking up for a B take. They're trusting the fact that Marsborne aren't going to press for information.
Which they're not. Marsborne are not going to push after that. Minus is the furthest extended. He's down in cubby in middle. Now he's finally starting to move Snake. That flash will let them know kind of what's going on. They don't watch for him. He gets one in combination with the nade, and he's going to back away. Man advantage played well here for Minus. Wolfie, another. Dumau has fallen. Now Legacy are having to deal with the aggression. Lux takes a lot of damage. He has to run forward ahead of that Molotov. Smoked off in cave as well.
30
Chop
seconds.
and Grizz working in. Time low. Health on Lux low as well. Bomb down bottom B ramp. That flash has to do it all. It gets one, but Chop trades. Can't double down. But here comes Minus. He'll triple it up on the double it up on the round. And that is a massive double kill for him late in this game. That keeps Marsborne alive. It keeps them ahead of the curve. At least not letting Legacy get to 11 and most likely 12 given the economic situation of everything. And Marsborne have not gone into the night just yet. They have remained alive.
And we have an op for Wolfie as well.
That's
Five's
huge.
still not great for his team, though. 2 MP9s for Grizz and Chop, leave a lot to be desired. But Legacy are already shifting gears, going towards A Manix very quickly, and Wolfie's here. Wolfie's posted with his op. Misses the shot. Dumau punishes. Now they'll race forward. Minus flashed in Donut. And now smoked off as well. Grizz finds Nissim in the chaos. Minus tries to get flashed in. He's traded in kind. 3 versus 4 for Marsborne on this retake as the plant is attempted and now secured. Do they go for it? Do they save? Seems like the save is the call. It is the more prudent one, but still, at this stage in the game, it's a very difficult call to make.
It's going to move Legacy to 11. And Marsborne just cannot find success in the early duels. They still have a timeout left, right?
I think so.
My question is, why hasn't it been used yet?
Use it here. Get one more buy.
You have to. If you have 2, you use one here and you use one next round. Because are they going to go all in? Or are they going to go up against 6 match points? That's the other question.
That's
Well, they're going to use their
final.
timeout here. Yeah, they need to figure it out. An unenviable position.
So close. It's 5-7 at the half, trailing just by 2. Since then, they've won a single round and lost 4. Sadzine has his op on the T side of the equation. No rival over on the Marsborne side of things, who instead have 2 MP9s on Wolfie and Chop. Love to see where they choose to play.
They can get it done.
They can.
And they really have no choice. They have to get it done here. This is their Thermopylae buy. It is survive or die. Die with spear in hand. But Dumau is looking to put the pressure and the punish on here. Scales up, runs down, and doesn't quite catch Minus, but Wolfie is taken out early. Lotto sprays away to try and find all 3. He does 2 and 2/3 damage. Grizz has a backstab, though. That's a freebie. The bomb down bottom ramp, and it's a segmented Legacy here that can't get plucked apart. There is a chance for Marsborne. They just have to close it down. And Nissim here, if he does not find that kill, causes a massive blunder, but he does succeed in his endeavors. Both Marsborne players mollied off as the Legacy will get the bomb down on A. to put themselves to 6 match points and to try and eliminate Marsborne from the playoffs. One more round. Sadzine can post up. And if you're Marsborne, you kind of have to go for it, but the save is still enticing. No more timeouts. It's all on this. And Grizz and Chop are going for it. 2 donut, 1 main. And now just 1 left for Marsborne. 1 for Grizz, but time not on his side. He knows where the other 2 are. Taps the bomb. Holds. Nobody's peeking. And now he has to go try again, but he's not got time. He'll fall to the ground. And Legacy, 6 rounds up on Marsborne. 1 away from victory. And another bout of playoffs tomorrow. MP9's on 4. The last ditch buy for Marsborne here. So they'll throw everything at the wall and see if anything sticks.
Question is, what will they have to throw? Because their buy shouldn't be too great. MP9s and an M4 is better than I expected, but still, I've seen nothing to inspire confidence on this CT side. Might be having a match medic.
We might be.
I'm hearing typing. It's got to be a match medic. Or at least an attempt to match medic.
Minus took 99 damage. Lato's also 99 HP. So damage has been done. Will we get an official match medic, though, is the question.
Seems like they both agree to it, so I don't see why we wouldn't.
Still waiting for official word here.
Still waiting for the funny button to be hit.
Yep. That says match paused at the top in big bold letters.
Does it? Lots of typing going on.
Yeah, flurry. Both teams just waiting in spawn. So both teams content to just redo this.
Wondering who's having the problem.
And I'm wondering what's going to happen if this does roll over to a 7. At least for Marsborne's sake, Legacy can't win via time.
It's true.
There it
There
is.
it is.
Match paused.
Took a minute.
It took a little over a minute, about a minute 50. Or a minute 30. Sorry. We will be getting that medic to 612. Money will go back to how it was. Saved weapons will go back to how it was as well. Six in a row required.
For overtime, not even for the game. How are the other games going? Energy's leading Blue Jays 10-8 on map 3. That's on Nuke. Nouns leading Vagrants 6-3 on map 3. I don't know what map that is. I'm too lazy to click on it.
Is it time for a Pineapple Phillips out-of-town scoreboard? Nope, we're back in game. Never mind. Put a pin in there. Okay, we're paused again.
Scoreboard's already been read. There's only 2 games on. Wish I had more to tell you, but those are the only 2 I can see.
How about tomorrow's out-of-town scoreboard?
Tomorrow's?
Can't you see the future?
You want me to read someone's palm? Like, what's the plan?
I thought you had a crystal ball lying around.
Ooh, I got an orb. I do not, unfortunately. Sounds like we have some connection problems that hopefully will be fixed here shortly. But, Boggs, we don't even know what the matchups are for tomorrow, let alone who will be winning them.
Well, and we know a couple. We know that Getting Info will play the winner of NRG Blue Jays, and Looking for Org will play the winner of Nouns versus Vagrants. That's what we know.
That's true. You at least know that, and it looks like NRG might be the winner of the NRG Blue Jays game. It's 11-8 currently.
Yeah, that one's coming down to the wire here. Reigning champions, NRG.
most difficult map of Nuke for the Blue Jays, it looks like.
Here we are. We're live again. Let's see how this one kicks off. Again, 6 rounds Marsborne needed in a row for overtime. It is match point for Legacy. MP7 for Lux. He's brought it back. We saw it early on Nuke. He's running it here on Ancient with a chance to seal the deal and stay alive in the lower bracket of playoffs. He'll take a nade, but not too much damage, just 21. Now, MO team will have a FAMAS this time, Nate.
I was just going to mention that. They changed up the buy slightly. Lux, that man with the SMG, gets 2 with the MP7. Nissim gets a 3rd. And despite the opening, Marsborne find themselves trailing by 2 players. The FAMAS of MOTM and the MP9 of Wolfie, both towards A, or both were towards A. The MP7 a chance at a 3rd here versus MOTM. It gets it as well. The lack of helmets giving the MP7 all the firepower advantage. And Dumau, through the smoke and the wall, closes out this 3rd and final map, 13-6 in favor of Legacy, who do successfully pull off the reverse sweep and eliminate Marsborne from ECL Season 49.
Pretty dominant as well.